Let's talk about how you can save hundreds of dollars as a student. I do so myself, and I want to pass on my wisdom and tips to y'all. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you don't know who I am, really, I think you're missing out on life. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that cocky, or am I? So, just a fair warning, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you read the title, it is saving money. So you're not generating any money, but we will have videos on this channel about how you can generate income as a student, all right? But that is a different video. Today, we're gonna be talking about saving. So to start off, there's a couple of realities you need to accept as a student. You're not gonna be financially free for a while. For the majority of students, if you have your parents being able to pay for your education, let's just say you are in a very privileged spot, you are blessed, and I'm not knocking down whose parents are able to do that. When I get older, I want to be able to do that for my kids so they don't have to worry about the stress of student debt. Something that I had to have the burden on for years. But I think you at least need to develop good financial habits while in school as a student. They just don't teach you that, which is wrong. I'm gonna teach you that. Hopefully I could be a mentor and guru of sorts when it comes to finances. Either way, let's talk about ways you can save. So the first thing we'll talk about, probably have heard of this, scholarships/grants. Now, really quick, if you want to apply for a scholarship and you are a first-generation student and you're pursuing a degree in healthcare, click that link below because I created a scholarship with bold.org and it's exactly for those kind of students. It's only $500, but we'll talk about how that can really add up. You need to apply to every scholarship you can. It doesn't cost you any money, and it might take a little time to create those essays and apply, but in the grand scheme of things, if you spend like an hour to write an essay and submit an application, that is time well spent, because who knows if you might end up getting that scholarship. So you gotta get internal scholarships and external scholarships. Internal scholarships pretty much mean that your school has scholarships and they award students based on merit, based on academics, based on leadership, whatever. Look that up. They usually don't advertise it too well, and because it's free money, they don't want to just say like, hey, here's free money for students. You got to go out there and look for it. External scholarships are all over the net. You really have to Google. The other day, I was reached out to by one of my professors to share a scholarship for any student who has struggled with a GI illness. And it was a $10,000 scholarship, right? And it's crazy. There's scholarships for so many things that you might not even realize that you qualify for. So do your research and make some money. And like I said, even if it's a $500 scholarship, $1,000 scholarship, just apply, because who knows? I've heard students who literally apply for so many and it adds up so quickly and it ends up paying a good chunk of your tuition. Buy your books online or get free links to the materials. This is not illegal, so to speak. You probably understand how expensive books can get. And let me just tell you, I'm just gonna say on this page, hopefully I don't get in trouble. Buying books is a scam, y'all. Why? I don't get it, because these books, they are updated every year and usually you use it for like once or twice in the class and you ended up spending hundreds of dollars. So either A, if you really want the actual physical copy of the book, buy it used, buy it online, whatever, or find online PDFs. There's plenty of websites that I'm not gonna mention here, but you can find it just by Googling, just by checking out Reddit. You didn't hear from me though. You can find books online for your classes. You could find all the resources. You know, in medical school, unfortunately, I have to buy a lot of materials, a lot of study prep materials. That's just how it is. But there's books out there that have been published to help you explain concepts that PDFs have circulated around students. Now, that's just how it is, okay? These books and PDFs, they're circulated through, and you can probably find a link to it to read for free. Also, if you have to buy a subscription to anything, see if you can team up with other students. Y'all remember Chegg? Remember, like I ran a Chegg and I'm pretty sure I had like 10 people on it and everyone would pay me like a few bucks a month. And honestly, that's not a bad business idea, but subscriptions like this, find ways to kind of hack them, right? If you can share subscriptions, if you can get free trials. Okay, between me and you, I'm literally using Final Cut Pro trial to edit this video and it's free for 90 days. And I just downloaded every 90 days for free and keep on extending it. And I haven't bought Final Cut Pro yet. It's not illegal. It's just hacking the system. You know how sometimes you even use different emails to get subscriptions? This is how you gotta do it. Next thing is, let's talk about utilizing student discounts. Seriously, I don't think y'all realize that as a student, we're broke as hell, and people know that, and they will throw money at you and let you save money wherever you go. For example, like fast food places, McDonald's, Subway, Wendy's, maybe they have discounts for students. You gotta call ahead and ask. It never hurts to ask. So don't sound like, why are you trying to sound like you're rich or something and like you're afraid to ask? Literally, it can save you 20%, 30%, even more in some cases. Sometimes people who are students get free stuff, right? Always ask, always look, always keep on Googling. Amazon offers a discount on Student Prime, right? I'm sure y'all didn't know that. Spotify has a student discount. So instead of paying $10 a month, I pay $5 a month, and that adds up, y'all. Next is gonna be one of these things that people should really think about. And I know it might not be a popular way to save money, but bear with me on this. You need to really maximize your savings on living expenses. So the first thing we'll talk about is rent. If you're living through the school, there's not much leeway as to how much you gotta pay. You gotta pay whatever rates they are. But if you have the option to live where you wanna live, here is where you can save the most money. Find places with cheap rent, obviously, right? You don't need to live in the fancy city. You don't need a apartment with a skyline view. You don't, all right? You can live in a suburb as long as it's safe, and you can live way cheaper where utilities will be cheaper, and you can probably keep a car there and not have to pay for parking if you even have a car. There's so much benefit to living not in a fancy city where utilities are cheap, where expenses are cheaper when you're away from the city. Suburbs just tend to be a little cheaper. So find places that are cheaper. Also maximize on roommates if you can. If there's a big place and there's 2 rooms, try to get 2 roommates. If there's a basement, we have a basement, and I converted that into a 4th roommate, and that has been able to reduce our rent expenses and our utility expenses. And it's just, you just gotta do it. You know, like you don't need a fancy house right now, so why not just save money? And it gets way more fun that way. And if you're paying for your utilities, obviously you wanna get good Wi-Fi, but cheap Wi-Fi. So shop around and see what Wi-Fi providers are offering good deals, especially for students. Even students might even get some discounts. So find cheap Wi-Fi, find cheap electricity, whatever your providers are, and then save some money by just like even unscrewing your light bulbs and stuff like that, or converting to efficient energy light bulbs. It really does add up, y'all. And like, if you just think like, oh, it's a few cents, it actually is more than just a few cents. It's dollars and dollars add up, and like people save hundreds of dollars a year. And the next thing is just tracking your expenses on a regular basis and figuring out where you can cut down. Now, this is very unpopular because people don't like tracking expenses because they don't like to know how much you're spending, but you need to be cognizant of it. How many times do you go out somewhere and you're just like, put it on my card, put it on my card? But if you go out somewhere with cash, you're less likely to give it away just because you know you have a finite amount. It's just how your mind works, all right? So find ways to limit your spending. You can download an app. There's like an app by Intuit, I think it's out there. There's multiple free apps you can use to just track your expenses every month, every year, whatever, however you want to do it. So then when you look at it, you might be less prompted to buy something on Amazon that you really didn't need, right? Here's a rule when you're trying to buy things in general, whether on Amazon, at the store, or even buy a drink at the bar or whatever. Whatever you want to buy, did you have a need for it this past week? Did you have a need for it this past month, this past year? And if you buy this, will you use it for at least 5 days out of the week, and will it make your life better? Ask yourself those questions. And if it is, and it's a financially sound decision, then you could probably pull the trigger on it. I know. Try to practice this as much as you can, okay? I'm not saying you can't buy a $5 latte at all from Starbucks, because sometimes those hit different and they really do help when you've had a bad day. You're very much allowed to that. But I'm talking about buying coffee every single day from Dunkin' or Starbucks. You can buy these things literally, like watch, Starbucks, you love the caramel macchiatos and they're $5 every time you go there. Go to Target, for $4, you get 8 servings of their caramel macchiato, and you could drink as much of it as you want. Boom, it's mind blowing, y'all. Just like, you gotta be smart with your spending and cut down your expenses. Now, big thing is monthly expenses. How many subscriptions do you probably have? You probably don't know, right? Because who keeps track of that? Well, you need to start keeping track of it. Most people will have a subscription to Spotify. If you have Apple Care, or if you pay for Apple storage, or you have Wi-Fi payments, and then you have utility payments, and then you have rent, maybe you have renter's insurance, maybe you have car insurance, maybe you have a car payment, maybe you have subscriptions to so many things out there like Grubhub, Uber Eats. So many things are just running on subscription services. And as an influencer, I have a bunch more subscriptions than the average person, and you need to be cognizant of how much money you're spending on subscriptions every month. Do not care about everyone else making money. As a student, you're playing it for the long haul. Students are really good at delayed gratification. So you're delaying your own gratification for something greater. A job that you love, that pays well, and financial security and job security down the line. So you'll do yourself a huge favor by not putting yourself in a lot of debt and by developing financial habits early on, right? My one piece of advice would be, if you have any extra cash lying around, don't spend it on things you don't need, but be okay with treating yourself. If you wanna go on a fancy dinner once in a while, do that. You wanna buy yourself a nice coffee, do that. But just be cognizant of what you're spending, because I think as a student, we put up with a lot of BS, and it's definitely okay to let loose once in a while. And I'm gonna end this video by saying you should like, comment, and subscribe if this was valuable. I love talking about these concepts. And I'm gonna end you all with a quote. And in the words of Fetty Wap, save that money.